Hello and welcome back here to Ray. This is me and explorerray.com, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the test, and that is, instead of bringing several lenses for doing a job or for doing different types of shooting, why don't bring different types of cameras with that lens on and switching between systems. This might be considering a little bit of a, what shall I say, a little bit specialized problem, because most people, they have like one camera or two cameras, maybe something like that. And I have, as you might have seen in the videos I have previously presented, I have several cameras and I use all of them, to be quite honest. So what I did this test earlier today. What I decided was that I live up north. We have been blessed with a glorious autumn so far. We hardly have any rain or snow or anything, but it's starting to get cold, and it's the lighting up here north to Norway is magnificent. So it's really nice to go out taking shots. So what I decided was that I wanted to take some different types of shots. I went up today and I gathered my gear. The only thing I decided was that I was going to bring this. This is my standard R-strap. So I brought this, and I brought two camera bags. One was the Think Tank retrospective, and the other one was another camera bag. And I decided to bring 4 cameras. The first thing I decided was that I was going to use this one. This is the Canon 5D Mark III, my favorite camera of all times, and on it I have put my 12-24 Sigma f4.5 to 5.6 wide angle lens. It's a quite fantastic lens, and to be able to have a non-fisheye 12mm lens on a full frame camera, full frame body, is actually stunning results. It's it is not a lens that's all that much talked about, but it gives spectacular results. It might not be all the best in low light situations, but like today when I've been out shooting in daylight in the day, it works perfectly. And the amount of information you can get in the image without too much distortion is also brilliant. That was my first lens. The other thing I decided was that I wanted a standardized lens. So I brought this one. This I've been talking about a couple of times before. This is my Nikon D810 with the Sigma 35mm 1.4 art lens, which is a story in itself. It gets a lot of praise. It's a fantastic lens, and it's totally deserved. It's a magnificent setup. So for the normal style shooting in the normal zoom range of 35mm, street photography and other things, this is nice. The next thing I brought was this one. This is the well-known 70-200 2.8 IS2 version Canon lens, a workhorse, and I put it on my Canon 6D. This is also a spectacular lens. I was considering, instead of bringing only full frame bodies, I was considering bringing my 7D instead. But let me tell you a little bit about why afterwards. The last lens, or the last camera I brought, was also this, the Fuji X100s, which I love dearly. So here you go, that was the test. I packed 2 bags, 2 shoulder strap bags, brought 2 bodies in each, and went on my way from my home into the city center, which takes approximately, when you're taking pictures and so on, maybe half an hour, a little bit more than that, an hour, something like that. And I took a couple of 100 images based on different subjects and different cameras. And my point of the test today was just to try to find out, okay, is it a problem going from a Canon to a Nikon to another Nikon and to a Fuji all at once? My postulation is yes. It isn't all that much a problem if you take the time, but here's my point. If you know what you want to shoot and you know what you're gonna need, it's easy to go from, let's say, a Canon to another Canon, and you shoot vice versa. The problem with the reason why I choose to bring my 60 together with my 70, no 5D I mean, instead of my 70, was because that the 60 is actually made to be different just by the appearance of the buttons and controls than the 5D. It's a smaller brother. And that you actually kind of notices. One of the things I was testing out today as a part of the test was to use ISO bracketing. So I put it on like manual mode, chose an aperture, chose the shutter speed, and had a variable ISO. And I shoot with brackets of 3, one underexposed, one normal exposed, and one overexposed. Setting this also on the 5D, which I've done several hundred times before, it's easy. I have it in my fingers, it's easy, it's no problem whatsoever, it's fine. When I was going to do the same thing with the 60, I haven't used that camera in that way that much before, so even if the controls look similar, they are made a little bit more difficult. So it wasn't an easy thing to do. When it comes to the Nikon, I had to learn myself that. Like I told you before, I'm a new Nikon user, so it was a little bit more cumbersome for me to actually do that setting, but it wasn't a problem, so on and so forth. Of course, when it comes to the Fuji X100s, it doesn't have that feature as well as I know, so I couldn't use it in that matter. And so, kind of, the thing that I haven't tested is that what I have done several times when I have been to Vietnam, when I've been to Svalbard Islands, when I've been different places in the world, Easter Island and so on, is that I have walked around with 2 cameras. And I've used a dual R-strap system where you carry it on the front like a backpack. You have like a harness and you have one camera on each side. I haven't tested it with having a Canon and a Nikon on in that matter. But today I just tried to say that, okay, I'm not going to go with 2 cameras or 3 cameras up and available at any one time. I was only going to shoot with 1 camera at any one time. And my conclusion is that, okay, yeah, it works, it gets the job done, it all comes down to what you know. But of course, if you're dependent on doing the same things very, very fast, or you're dependent on using specialized instructions and settings and so on and so forth, I wouldn't recommend using too many different systems. Of course, many people might have one system they are sticking to. I primarily stick to Canon, but I have a little bit of Nikon gear, as you know. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. But of course, if you know exactly what you're gonna do and you can preset the settings more or less, so the only thing you do when you're out in the field is, for instance, okay, I used my Canon gear for doing the wide angle shots, and I used my Nikon for doing the narrower telephoto shots, for instance. then it can be fine, because then all you do is actually pressing the shutter, and you may be doing some exposure compensation or something like that. But at once you have the need of actually using the creativity, using the tools within the camera, and you are mixing up different cameras with different buttons and different styles and different things you can do and so on and so forth. My postulate is that I wouldn't recommend it. I think they are brilliant camera, but try and figure out, okay, this is what I need today, and if you need to have different types, set it up and use them. But if you know that, okay, I will only do this and this, and let's say, for instance, I'm only going to be indoors, and I'm only going to do a street fair, for instance. What I probably would do is I would probably just have my Canon 5D and my 24-70, for instance. Like, okay, one zoom lens that can do all the work. That was my little, I wouldn't call it rant, but it's I think it's an interesting concept today, just to try to find out how you can have your process of getting systems working together, dependent on your workflow, you can say. So that is what I want to say. I hope you find it interesting. If you do, if you like what I do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to my blog, explorerray.com. Here I will put out images from today or other days, and I will tell stories, and I will try to give some tips. I've also started, just for testing of it, a little podcast which I've called This Week in Travel and Photography. So I will just give my notions about that in my podcast. So take care and have an excellent evening. Good day. Bye.